Micah Lasher wins the Manhattan Democratic primary, defeating a Kennedy heir and a crowded field of candidates for one of the most coveted open house seats in the country. In a race that drew national attention and an eye-watering amount of money, Lasher, a 44-year-old state assemblyman and former aide to some of New York's biggest political names, pulled off a victory that, on paper, looked like a long shot. He ran what reporters are calling a staid, old-fashioned campaign, no viral moments, no celebrity status, just a thick resume and a deep knowledge of policy. And in Manhattan's 12th district, that was apparently enough. With 85% of the vote counted, Lasher was sitting at 39%, comfortably ahead of fellow Assemblyman Alex Bors, who finished second. Bors had become the unlikely center of a $27 million proxy war between competing factions of the artificial intelligence industry. At his concession, he made clear he saw his campaign as a stand against the outsized influence of major tech companies like OpenAI, saying, and I'm quoting here, "While we came up short tonight, the example set here was very much not the one they intended." Now, the name that probably brought you to this story, Jack Schlossberg, the grandson of John F. Kennedy, finished a distant third with about 11% of the vote. His entry into the race had generated international headlines, but Manhattan voters apparently weren't swayed by the famous last name. He closed his concession speech with a riff on his grandfather's most famous line, telling the crowd, "All of us ask not what our country can do, but what we can do to help our city." Also in the field, George Conway, the sharp-tongued Trump critic and ex-husband of Kellyanne Conway, and public health expert Nina Schwalb, both further back in the results. So how did Lasher pull this off? 2 words, money and mentorship. Retiring Congressman Jerry Nadler, whom Lasher once worked for, threw his endorsement behind his chosen successor. And former Mayor Michael Bloomberg poured $10 million into a super PAC supporting Lasher, helping make this one of the most expensive House races in American history. The district itself is worth understanding. New York's 12th covers most of central Manhattan, Broadway, the Empire State Building, more Fortune 500 headquarters than any other congressional district in the country. It's one of the oldest, wealthiest, and most educated districts in the United States, and it has a long track record of electing liberal policy heavyweights over flashy outsiders. Lasher fits that mold. Beyond Nadler and Bloomberg, he also served as Governor Kathy Hochul's policy director and founded a major political consulting firm while still in college. Oh, and he was apparently an accomplished childhood magician, which, given how he made a crowded field disappear last night, feels appropriate. On the issues, the race was more consensus-driven than combative. All candidates backed abolishing ICE and supported impeaching President Trump. On Israel, Lasher took a nuanced stance, telling voters he would not support a blanket ban on weapons sales to the country despite concerns about its wartime conduct. His victory party at Jacob's Pickles on the Upper West Side was packed, with overflow crowds spilling onto Columbus Avenue. He was introduced as the Mensch of Manhattan and our nerd, 2 descriptions he seemed to wear with pride, telling the crowd it was a point of pride that he would be representing what he called the most Jewish congressional district in the country. As the odds-on favorite heading into November's general election, Micah Lasher's quiet, resume-driven campaign just proved that in at least one corner of the country, substance still sells. That's the story from Manhattan's 12th. I'm handing it back to you.